matter,
While we're
really.
getting the stream set up, I'll go get some light refreshments.
The stream's set up.
What? Did you say it's set up?
We're streaming.
Would you rather be able to get $1 million right now?
Everyone else, mute.
Ah, shit.
Everyone except the two candidates, mute. Get in places.
Shit.
Would you rather have $20 every hour
Cicero, shut the fuck up.
or $1 million?
Ben, you mute yourself or I'll remove you.
Apparently shit's going down on Raw, and I didn't even know.
Ben, get to your seat and mute.
Ben, shut the fuck up.
Okay. Everyone, get to their seat.
How do you just falls from the sky? Who the fuck keeps falling from the sky?
Hello and welcome. My name is Marshall. I am your king, otherwise known as Sanguine the First, and I'll be hosting this presidential debate, the second one in Grandaar. This is quarter 4 of 2015, otherwise known as the third era.
That was awful.
I've got our two candidates here, DJ Etchingham and Cicero II. DJ Etchingham represents the Conservative Party of Grandaar, newly formed this year. DJ, how are you feeling today?
I feel great.
Excellent. Do you feel prepared for this?
Sure.
Do you think this will be a good show to the voters of the things you believe in as a candidate?
Yeah, that's kind of the purpose of this, is it not?
I mean, yes, I just want to know. Okay, and we go to Cicero II, the candidate of the Imperialist Blood Party, a coalition formed between the Cult of the Blood and the Imperial Party. Cicero, how are you?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like today, like my boy DJ Khaled, all I'm gonna do is win, you know?
I know what you mean.
Exactly.
So you feel well prepared for this debate?
I feel very well prepared. I think Mr. Etchingham has given me plenty of material to use, so I think I'll be okay.
Okay, sounds exciting. And we have a pretty large studio audience today, 5 different people. So
is the Supreme Justice not a person now?
Oh, he's a person too. So we have 6 people watching today, and it's incredibly exciting. I can't wait. I'm sure some of the audience members will have some interesting questions for our two candidates. The two candidates should also have some interesting questions for each other. Now, I want to start this off with one of the candidates' questions. So, let's begin with DJ. If you have a question that you would like your opponent, and you also have to answer this question, what would it be?
What are you going to do about the currency?
Okay, so we'll start with Cicero's response.
That was actually my question to you to start off with, and I think that's a big hot button topic in this election. So, my plan is to reform the currency from paper and gold to just gold nuggets, because currently, as this currency works, it's iron, gold, and diamonds. But instead of having that system where we're using 3 resources, I plan to just use gold. So then gold nuggets would replace iron, gold ingots would stay gold ingots, and gold blocks would then replace diamonds. So then instead of having the mining district have to give up 3 resources, they'd only be having to give up 1, thus empowering the mining district. But wait, there's more. The farming district would then also get paper as a new industry, because paper would get out of the currency system. So it would become a free market for paper, a free market for diamonds, and a free market for iron. I talk about free market as in a sense of it being controlled by our systems that are already in place to control the market, but I think you get the point that this will be really good for making our economy stronger.
Okay, very good answer, Cicero. And DJ, how would you handle the issue of currency in the upcoming term?
I think I would keep the 3-layer system, because I think it gives diverse choice in currency. And how my system would work would be paper to lapis to emerald. All of these items I feel like are the ones with the most limited uses, and I feel like they can be used the best as a currency over diamond, which we currently use, which, you know, is a very good material to build things like swords, axes, shovels, etc.
Okay. That's a decent point, Etchingham. Now, do either of you have any rebuttal to each other's statements?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So you say you plan to use emerald as the top currency, which would make sense because emerald's really rare, but we hardly even have 50 emeralds in the entire empire, let alone enough to make it based on a whole currency. So I don't know how you plan to do that, because since emeralds are only found in extreme mountain biomes, it'd be really hard to get them. So I don't think that's very realistic.
Should I respond to him?
Yes, you're allowed to respond to him.
Okay. I assume so, but I didn't know if I was waiting for something. Ben, stop it. Don't even respond, drop the mic. The reason why Emerald works in this position is because Emerald would be the highest tier of currency. And I think it helps out the economy with inflation and such if the highest layer of the currency is extremely valuable. And by having less than 50 of it, we make sure that not everybody goes around having, 50 emeralds themselves and throwing them at whatever, making money basically meaningless.
To clarify, Mr. Etchingham, you believe in a very rare mineral for the top layer of the currency to deflate the currency, to make it stronger.
Yes.
Okay. If that's all about the topic of currency, we can move on to our first audience question. I'd like to also remind the audience members that if you sent me a question way earlier on before we started the debate, I had to restart my game, so I don't have those questions. So if you sent me one earlier, do send that again. I do have one audience question from Benjamin Cromwell. And this question, he wrote to a specific candidate, but both of you are going to answer it. What are your planned policies to fix the problem with overpopulation of grounders in Grandaar? We'll start with Etchingham.
Overpopulation of grounders. Last time I checked, anytime we find a grounder, we basically kill it. Overpopulation of them isn't a problem. Even if it was, any steps we are taking are ones that we have to present. Ben?
If I could ask the audience members to please refrain from chatting publicly. If you have a question, please PM me. Okay. Continue, Etchingham.
Any steps we are currently taking, which is when we find one, we kill it, is really all we need to limit them.
So, you don't think it's a problem that we have to constantly kill them?
No.
Okay. That's all.
if we would like to go, okay.
I mean, if you'd like, continue. Sorry, I mean, if you have more to say on the subject, but don't let me stop you.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. Cicero, how would you? Do you have any planned policies for the grounder population issue?
I think we need to maybe hire a guard that would try to keep us alive, because I've been hearing about a lot of deaths related to grounders lately, especially from some people out in the wilderness, like far away from maybe the main city. Maybe work on torching up the entire premise, maybe working on getting some torches into people's hands and maybe eliminating places where they could spawn. Also, we need to identify who is a grounder and who isn't. We need to make that clear. We need to write legislator about what makes a grounder and what doesn't, because there's been a lot of controversy throughout this election about really like what we should do about grounders. Are they second-class citizens? Are they actual full citizens? So we need to really get that into writing, get that into legislator. So if when the parliament becomes a thing, when the parliament becomes in action, and if you elect me as president, I will define what a grounder is and I will define what a grounder isn't, to try to make sure that we can understand where they stand in our system.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any rebuttals on either response to the grounder population issue? Nope. Okay. And we will move on to Cicero's first question.
What do you plan to do on religious rights? Do you have anything that you want to infringe on religion, or is there anything that you want to do to try to stop religions from prospering in Grandaar?
I believe that anyone who wants to worship what they want to worship should be able to worship what they want to worship.
Whoa.
The only thing I would see about limiting is is the fact that a religion should not be a religion should not be able to limit someone's freedom of speech and hold something against them, limiting them from speaking their mind.
Okay. So what you're saying is you're in favor of separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Okay. And
religion should be kept as far away from politics as possible.
Okay. Okay. And Cicero, what are your thoughts on religion in Grandaar?
Now, if you don't already know, I am the leader of the Religion of Blood, and if you don't know, that'll probably bring a big impact on my political decisions. The Lexicon of Blood is open source; anybody can read it. I will lend it to whoever wants to read it. I think my views are fair. I believe in capitalism, but I do also believe in equality. It's not 100% equality, but try to make everybody's opportunities as equal as possible. So if you also believe in that, I'm sure you'll have a great time electing me as president. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So what do I plan on doing? I plan on keeping it the way it is, as pretty much all free for all for religions. If anybody else wants to start a religion, they are free to as well, in my opinion.
Okay, sounds good. Are there any rebuttals to either statement on the topic of religious freedom? No? Okay. Now we will go with our first King's question. I've prepared a few questions I'd like to ask you. And my first one is dealing with the current, for those of you who don't know, we've had a lot of, one might say, terrorist acts or acts against the citizens and the country of Grandaar in the past few weeks. There was a man who tried to break our server through lag and through the use of cheats, and there was someone who tried to, didn't just attempt, they successfully terrorized and blew up or burned Bullhead City horribly, as well as damaging a few parts of the farming district and the lumber district. So my question is, how do you plan on handling problems like this in the future? Do you have any policies in mind, or do you think it was just a fluke and we don't have to worry about it? Let's start with Cicero.
I think we should implement an immigration system for sure. Maybe have some tiered systems. Maybe start off by bringing the person on and immigrate the person, but they would have a green card that would allow them to work, but it would limit them on what they can do. So to sort of have a testing period, test the waters. It's still very, you can say rudimentary thought, because it's still I'm still trying to figure out what I would do about it. But we need an immigration system on the server, because as much as I do like bringing new people into Grandaar, I think it's important to keep it safe as well, as we've seen with Finny the Brony. But Finny the Brony was more of a whitelist issue, and that's solved now. But if you look at the whole issue with Steve Kraft, Logan, it was more of an issue with our immigration system, which and DJ actually supported Steve Tech, and I think that was the mistake. Number one is that we need to have a good judgment of who we're bringing onto the server. And so it's just all comes down to judgment testing, and maybe we can even have a citizenship test to try to make that a little bit more rigorous to show that they have some dedication.
Okay, Etchingham, your thoughts on the issue of terrorism and any rebuttals to Cicero's statements about you?
I do believe the immigrant with Grandaar needs to change. The whole issue with Steve Tech, I won't deny that I brought him on thinking it was in the best favor of Grandaar, another person on the server, another worker. I never assumed it would go the way it did. Of course, I wouldn't have brought him on if I knew in any way he would attempt to break our laws. And I think with immigration, policies need to be created. We already have the really, really great one with where the king counsels kind of with the person before they come on. That's a big one. Maybe we could do multiple of those, maybe one or two. Actually, probably 2 or 3 thorough checks after the whole incidents we've had over this past month, to just make sure and test the waters, to make sure that people aren't just coming on to just destroy the server and then leave.
Okay, very good points. Cicero, any rebuttal to his comments?
No, I think I'm okay. I think that was fair.
Okay, that's all about the issue of immigration. And let's take another question from the audience. We have quite a few built up now. This question will be a bit of a fun one. Think of this as a nice respite from the serious political talks. The question comes from actually 2 different people. Basically the same question. Both Benjamin Cromwell and Dr. Mythos ask, who shot first, Greedo or Han Solo? Let's begin with Etchingham.
Han Solo did.
And Cicero?
I have no idea what that's even talking about because I've never even heard of any of these 2 characters ever in this world. I'm sorry. This doesn't. I can vaguely think of who it is, but when I'm talking about it right here in Grandaar, I have no idea.
That's fair. To be fair, we don't have any movies in Grandaar. Putty, I don't think that was ever published. The Star Wars by Theodore, but maybe. Okay, and
but if I had to answer,
yeah,
I'll just go out on a whim here and say I'll say Han. I'll say Han Solo.
So Han did shoot first.
Yeah, I'll just throw that out there. I mean, it's just a complete guess. I mean, I don't even know who these 2 people are, but I mean, I'll just put it out there.
Okay, there we go. We're both in agreement. Wait, no, you said Han?
Yeah.
Okay. And we got so many questions from the audience. I'm actually going to take another one right now.
Uh-oh.
Supreme Justice says, do you think trying to work with the Grounders will stop them from attacking at night? Cicero.
No. They are those Grounders that you see outside are uncontrollable. No matter what we do, they will not. Some zombies are changeable with golden apples, which I've heard, but it's a very expensive strategy to try to maybe save a few lives, maybe. But I think they're uncontrollable for the most part. If we want to try to implement a system with golden apples, I will listen to it. I'm pretty much open to any ideas, and I'll listen to it. But it seems like it's economically just not a good idea. So.
So what you're saying is you're open to the idea of it, but you personally do not think it's a going to
I don't
lead
think
anywhere.
It's a good idea, no. But Grounders that are right now in the Kingdom, we're already working with perfectly okay, so I don't see a problem with that too much if the Grounders are able to function in society like we've already proven. But if they're outside in the wilderness, I don't think there's anything we can really do.
Okay. And Etchingham, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree mostly with what Cicero says. The ones that come out at night and would attack Grandaar, they're not like myself. Well, I'm not like them in that sense. I'm half human, half Grounder, and so I'm not feral like they are. As much as I can slightly understand what they're saying, most of it is garbled stuff like kill, something about brains every once in a while. I don't know what else. It's just my answer to the question is no. Like, I don't think we can work with them. They're beasts.
Oh, also, I do want to say that Ben talking while we're trying to talk is actually really distracting.
Yeah.
Yes, I was actually just about to say that.
I'm trying to talk and I'm like reading at the same time. It's just very.
If you could please hold back your talk. If you have anything to say to the candidates, please say it to me, and we'll see if it's a question that they can answer. Okay. Any rebuttal on that topic? No.
Oh well, we have the same opinions.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just wondering.
Okay.
It's like your opinion is wrong.
I need to ask anyway. It's unfair if I didn't give you the chance to rebuttal.
That's true.
So let's go to another question from the candidates. Let's start with Etchingham. Etchingham, do you have? I'm assuming you've prepared a second question.
Yep.
Okay, let's hear it.
What do you plan to do about building? Because as we've seen, the Finny the Brony attacks, the trading district finally getting built, and Chris, Reggie starting to revamp the districts we already have. What are your plans about building?
I'm glad you brought this up, actually, because I think building is actually really important for the server right now, especially when we're in the growing period right now. And maybe subsidizing out building to a building guild. I've heard that idea from Steven and other people on the server, and I think it's a great idea. The way that Steven wants to implement it, though, seems a little bit restrictive, I want to say, so maybe we'll have a talk about how he wants to make that a thing. If it's his own project, I mean, I'm not going to tell him how to change it, but if it's an actual subsidized project of the state, then I'm sure that we can come to an agreement of something. But yeah, building needs to be a bigger deal. It needs to be more subsidized because after working on the dam, the future trade district for some time, a lot of my own resources and a lot of Grandar's resources went towards that, but not many from the state. So I would like to make a system where the state could somehow give maybe not even a big percentage, but just a percentage of the materials needed to build something if a project wants to be built and if it's approved by the state, which I think the trading district should be. But other than that, yeah, building is a really good idea, really good, really big thing. And also, for Chris's situation, I think it's great to have a builder, and I think he has a great job and he does a great job, but I think we need him to have a secondary role where he needs to fill maybe a smaller quota than other people, but he still needs to have a job somewhere in society to help bring some sort of resource, because having sort of a money sink where we just give him resources and he just builds stuff and that's the only thing. I know he's already a civil servant, but it's sort of a vague contract as to what he has to do and what he doesn't have to do, so maybe to put those into black and white categories and just tell him what he has to do, it would be a better idea, I think.
Okay.
Oh, that was my next question.
Okay. So we are going to, before we get to Cicero's second question, we're going to take another question from the audience. I'd also like to thank the audience for being so.
Yeah, I didn't answer.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right. I'm so sorry. DJ, let's hear your response to your thoughts on your own question.
Building has definitely become one of the biggest points thus far in Grandar. For the reasons I've listed off as earlier. I think that Chris's role should stay the same in a lot of ways, because we need someone who is at the firm helm of all of the state's building projects. I was also thinking of a system where each individual worker, while also working their own job, until the building needs kind of toned down a bit, they would need to possibly do something with Chris to help build, either rebuild Bullhead, help with the districts, or help Cicero build the trading district.
Okay. It seems like both of you are suggesting that we take Chris, who is currently just a contracted worker by the king, and making his job into a legislated job. Are both of you saying that?
I think he needs to have a secondary role. I think he needs to have.
But are you saying that needs to be created by legislation, or that just simply is added to his current job?
No, I think it needs to be put in legislation. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't know what you're trying to say here.
Well, currently he's just contracted. So there's a difference between like a contracted worker, who has just made an agreement with the Empire, and a worker who his job is mandated by law. So an example of a contracted worker is Chris, and mandated by law, that would be the district workers. Okay, that's written in legislation. So what I'm saying is, are both of you proposing that we make head architect a legislative job?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. Are there any... DJ, yes?
Yeah, I would say so as well.
Okay, are there any rebuttals to either what you've had to say on this topic?
I don't think so. I don't have anything.
Okay. Now we are going to move on to another one of the audience questions. Like I was saying, I'd like to thank the audience for being so interactive on this occasion. We have so many great questions for our candidates. This one comes from Dr. Mythos. What do you plan to do about the recent studies that suggest alchemy could have medical and military uses? I think what he's referencing is the fact that up till now, there's been a culture in Grandar against witchcraft. So we'll start with Etchingham. How do you respond to these claims, and would you use them on the government level? Would you officially use them?
I think I would. I think witchcraft is a big area that we haven't yet explored, and because we don't know about it, we frown upon it. And I think if we explore it, we can learn that there is more good to witchcraft and enchanting and alchemy and stuff like that than there is harm.
Okay. And Cicero?
I say legalize everything. Like, legalize not everything that's dangerous, but all the substances, you know? Like, Spider Eye has been proven to be it's been a problem because of its taboo, sort of taboo place in our government. I think we need to legalize that and show
Spider Eye is not illegal.
Oh, well, I think Spider Eye needs to be sanctioned by the government and sold as a recreational drug that a lot of people could enjoy in this great nation. But also...
Are you also saying we lift the ban on poisonous potatoes as well as pufferfish?
I say pufferfish, yes. Poisonous potatoes, we still have to look into that because that does sound a little bit dangerous. But pufferfish, I say if it's at your own harm, because there's no way to inflict pufferfish on other people. So if it's up to you to take the pufferfish, I mean, hey man, it's up to you. So pufferfish, yes. Spider Eye, yes. Alchemy, yes. I think they should all be no longer frowned upon. And to refute to what DJ Etchingham said, I think that doesn't sound like a very conservative approach on it. You haven't had very conservative approaches this debate. Why? Like, I mean, it's like it seems like you're not really the conservative party. You're just the let's be better than Cicero party, or let's try to be Cicero but different party.
Your response, Etchingham?
That's what politics is. It's taking either the exact same view or a different view to someone and proving that your view is better than theirs.
But why didn't you call your party like the Liberal Democrats or the Socialist Party of Grandar? Like, why'd you call it conservative?
Where's the conservatism? Yeah, there's no conservatism there. Is it just you don't understand political spectrums?
Somebody look up a definition of conservative, please.
Oh, God, okay, I'll do this right now.
Shots watered.
We're going to check on our audience right now. We lost one audience member, unfortunately, but she may return. I'm not sure.
Conservatism is any political philosophy that favors tradition in the sense of various religious, cultural, or nationally defined beliefs and customs in the face of extremal forces or change in its critical or proposal for radical social change. So you would take a more, you would say you want less change. And now, every policy that people have been like, yo, you want to change that? You've been like, yeah, let's change it, for sure. Hell yeah. You know, it's like, doesn't seem like it's following your conservative title, but I digress.
I think following a conservative title can only go so far, and at points you really have to talk to people and know what they want. Because that's what this is about. I am willing to throw out the window my party's views if I think it means it will better Grandar for the people.
I'd like to remind our audience, once again, to refrain from chatting. Are there anything else you guys want to say about either conservatism, which was sort of a side topic that came up, or the original topic? What was it? Legalization of drugs and such. Anything else you guys have to say on that topic?
No, I think we went over it.
Okay, great. And now we're going to take Cicero's question, his second question.
What do you think about horses and licenses? I saw that you wrote a part about that in your address to the people, and I thought that was an interesting take on it. I'd like you to sort of repeat what you said.
Okay. So obviously in Grandar, there is a building market for horses. I know there are certain people who lose horses more than others. And I feel like, so then these people can't just continue getting as many horses as they want and killing them off. We need to place some policies, because it really is an uncharted territory. I feel that a course should be taken, and only one person in Grandaar at a time should be able to take this course and obtain a horse trader's license, so to speak, and that one citizen is in charge of distributing horses to Grandaar. I think that this helps out the economy in a lot of ways, especially if it became like a legislative job. And I think overall it could limit a lot of the horses being bought and then being abandoned or killed, only to be replaced very quickly with another horse. I also think that maybe there should be limits to how many horses people can have, because there's no real need for someone to have 6 or 7 horses when realistically you would never need to use that many.
Okay. And Cicero, what are your thoughts on horse policy?
The interesting thing about horses is that when you kill a horse, they don't drop any resources. So a horse is only good alive. So if you have 20
horses actually sometimes drop leather.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, it's such a small benefit because you're going to be putting a ton of stuff into actually breeding these horses, which are like golden carrots or golden apples.
Please refrain from throwing eggs, audience.
And
specifically Ben.
So that's the thing, right? So like, I think if horses become horses, most people don't actually go through horses that quickly, and I think the market can grow stale quite quickly. So I think it's better to keep it as an open market because then it lets people get horses if they want them. They should be rare. So if you can't find a horse, then it's a good thing, right? Because they are a rare commodity or rare. I guess we could call it a rare commodity. Although that does sort of go against the commodity. Anyways. I think it should be luxury good, and if they are rare, they're rare, and I don't think we should try to make a business out of it because the person that would be the horse trader would not really have a very active job because I've been through 2 horses in the past. This is my second horse right now ever on the server, and that was after 2 weeks I had my first one, so I don't think it's that big of a deal for most people.
Okay. Are there any rebuttals from either of you on the topic of horse policy?
While the rules may not, the policies, not rules, will be set in, not for everyone, as most policies and such aren't. They're targeted at a demographic that I know exists that goes through horses very quickly. And I feel that these people going through them so quickly harms the economy of Grandaar, as we could capitalize on this.
Okay, so my counter proposal to that would be that if I was to implement a horse market system, which I would be against, but if the parliament was for it, I would suggest giving it to the farming district as an extra industry to the empire in that district.
Okay, very interesting thoughts from both of you. I think that's enough on horse policy. We're going to move on to another audience question.
I like all the audience questions. This is good.
Yeah.
I know. I'm very happy about them. Okay. Our next question comes from Supreme Justice. What do you think about the immigration bill from the Von Asshat ministry? I should say proposed immigration bill. It was never passed.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you give us a little summary about that? Because we were both not active when that happened.
That's a fair point. The immigration bill from the Von Asshat ministry was proposed by Mike Phil, and it basically suggested that that we should go through the immigration process and make it so that, I believe, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I believe it said that we needed to go through the immigration process and basically take what already happens when we immigrate people and write it into law. for the most part, although I don't know if it was ever finished, from what I know of it, it was basically just reiterating the already mandated processes for immigration and writing them into law. So do any of you have comments on this bill? Would you like to finish this bill? Would you never want an immigration bill to be passed? Or do you have an idea for a different kind of immigration bill? We'll start with Cicero.
Well, I think you said that it was redundant, the things that you already do as emperor. And I if I was to trust anybody to immigrate good people, it would be the emperor. So I don't think we really need to set what you need to do in stone. I think what we more need to do is add more precautions instead of what we already have. I think we need to add maybe as I already said, a citizenship test and a green card system and some other things that would be that we'll think up in Parliament. I'm sure that would be integral to making sure that Grandaar stays safe from terrorists.
Okay, and Etchingham, your thoughts on it?
As you said, yeah, if it's redundant, I don't see the point in really bringing it up. If you already do, it says, I don't see why we would need to basically set it in stone.
Okay, any rebuttals from either of you? Nope. Okay. We're going to go to another King's question. My second question for you two, has to do with the candidates themselves. What do you think makes you good for this job, as far as past experience, traits you think you have, qualifications, anything like that makes you an adequate man for the job of president? Start with Etchingham.
I feel like I'm a man of the people. I wrote it in my statement that I don't believe someone in the role of president, while they are higher than someone, I don't think the people should have to refer to them as like Mr. Etchingham or Mr. Cicero, I guess. You don't really have a first name or last name. I don't know. I believe that a president should meet their people eye to eye and work with them in order to better their country. And I believe that's what I will do.
That doesn't really answer the question. The question is what makes you in your past, not what you plan to do. Do you have any history, any qualifications that makes you adequate for this job?
I'm a man of the people.
Okay.
I listen to people. I talk to them on like a one-to-one level. I know what people want, and I plan to do that.
Okay, sounds good. Cicero, any qualifications, experience, or traits you think makes you good for this job?
I've been a long-time unhappy worker in the mining district, and I believe that mining district experience will help me bring the mining district back to glory. Maybe it wasn't a former glory, I don't know, but it will bring it to glory because right now miners aren't getting well compensated, and that's the fact. So we need to get that sorted out. Also, I've been on, I think, consistently almost every day since my immigration. I've been very active, so that really brings me into the community, and I understand what people's problems are, and I really can understand how things work. I know pretty much everyone on in the country. I know pretty much everything that everything's going on. I am active in court cases, and I am not a lawyer. I am a worker that does things for the people and for the state. Yeah.
Any rebuttals from either of you?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
How can you call yourself a future president if you wanted to drop out of the presidential race 3 times, and each time...
That is not a rebuttal to that question. It is not a rebuttal to what he had to say.
Oh, to what do you have to say? Oh.
No, yeah. Rebuttal is simply denying what he had to say is false, or saying that you don't agree with it for a specific reason, but he said nothing about that. So I don't think it really counts as a rebuttal. If you have any rebuttals to what he had to say, then say them now. Question from the former president, Sir Reginald von Asshat. Will you be implementing harsher or lighter penalties and sentencing for crimes like industry control? And do you have any ideas of how these sentences should be carried out, if you're going to reform them or change them at all in your if you plan to do that? Basically that's the question. We'll start with Cicero.
Okay, I think industry control as it is right now is very, very strict, and I think I'm in two minds about it. But I would say that I would be less strict with industry control, because I believe that if it's a very minor, if it's not going to affect the economy too much, I don't think it should be a very punishable crime. For instance, if somebody is trying to build a house and there's a tree in the way, I don't think they need to wait till a lumber district worker is available to cut it down. I think that or giving to the state all the things that you were given so that they can discard it, I think that is perfectly okay.
So in other words, you're in favor of treating it less like the gospel truth and more using our discretion in cases of industry control.
Exactly. It should be it should be like that, yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about sentencing in general, whether it should be harsher or lighter for all criminal offenses?
Oh, that varies. Treason and all those things should not change. I think that when it comes to treason and murder, murder is bad, murder is wrong. Those sentences shouldn't change.
You should know that the current sentence for murder is technically 1 month imprisonment.
Well,
that's real time.
Well, I think that's fair. I don't think we should be murdering people in Grandaar. Also, I think, but I think other crimes such as you mentioned, industry control, and what was the big one? What was the case? Can you remind me the case that was between Benjamin Cromwell and D.J. Etchingham earlier this month? Was it slander and defamation? I will try to abolish those laws. I don't think they are necessary in Grandaar. I think that freedom of speech trumps all. I think people should be able to say whatever they want and about each other, and if they don't like it, then they should just come up with a better way to rebuke that, because I don't think it should be punishable by law that somebody said something about them.
Okay. Thank you for your thoughts on that. Etchingham, what are your thoughts on sentencing in general and sentencing for industry control?
I feel like the sentencing for all of the crimes in Grandaar should stay the same. I think they are all well written, well thought of, I want to say. Adjusted to their according to their crime. I believe 1 month for killing someone is an acceptable amount of time. I feel like control is one of the possibly only ones that I might actually increase the penalty for, because isn't it one act of it is 30 minutes, half an hour?
That is correct. One act of industry control gives you a 30-minute penalty. Maximum 30-minute penalty. The judge can use his own discretion to lower that.
Yeah, I think that should be increased, because people who are in violation of this know what they're doing, because it's not a secret. If you don't work in said district, don't go off and cut down their trees or mine a whole bunch. And I believe that the people who do these things intentionally ignore the laws of Grandaar. And I feel like there should be a rougher punishment than the one we currently have for it.
Okay, I gotta say it's refreshing to actually hear a conservative idea from you. But that's a very good answer to the question. Do either of you have rebuttals on the topic of sentencing?
I do.
Okay, let's hear it.
That brings me back to my point, though. Like, what if there's no lumber district workers on ever? Like, what would happen in that case? Like, would they just have to wait? Like, let's say if the entire lumber district decided to just stop coming on randomly, like, if I had a tree in the way, would I have to just wait until indefinitely for somebody to come on that can cut down this tree? Like, it seems foolish to do that. Like, if I have a project I want to work on, so that's what I've got to say.
I believe that, yeah, you would wait, because it it. One sec. I have to collect myself.
Please don't take too long. We have a lot of questions.
I believe that you would, because as I stated earlier, involving horses, policies and laws and such are set out not just to cover, set to cover all situations, while obviously only targeting a few. It's I feel it's slightly ridiculous to think that simply because what you're using, if you were to want to cut down a tree, I think it's ridiculous to think that if you just use the excuse, oh, I was trying to build a house or something like that, I feel like that's a way that criminals can get away with these types of things and not be punished for them.
Okay.
Is there no more rebuttal on this point? Okay, we will move on. I believe that was a audience member's question, and we've got so many of those, I think we're going to actually take another. So let me go right through our little messages here. Okay, our next question comes from Dr. Mythos, or Mythos is actually his official name. What do you plan to do about the lands beyond Grandaar? He has called them the Far Lands. The Imperial Magistracy does not recognize those officially as a term for the lands beyond Grandaar, but. Do you two have any ideas for what to do with the land outside of Grandaar, or do you think it should be left alone? We'll start, I think, I'll say Etchingham.
I feel like right now, as we are focusing, building, and such on the training district, rebuilding Bullhead, and the current districts like Chris is doing, I think right now we need to expand an awful lot. I feel like there will come a day in which we will, but I feel for now we are fine and we don't have to look into those lands.
So in other words, you're in favor of vertical expansion instead of horizontal expansion.
Sure.
I mean, it's an economic term. So in horizontal, it's literally like horizontal's like is sort of like more like quantity, and vertical it can also mean quantity, but it's like in a different direction. In this case, it just means like in a more compact space. But anyway, Cicero, your thoughts on this?
I think we need to slowly expand, but do we need to expand right now? No. We still have a lot of space to build in the Empire, but when the Empire starts to get pretty packed, when it starts to become sort of hectic, then we can actually open up new districts outside in the outer lands. I don't know what they're officially called, and make maybe some smaller settlements that people can start out there that will be sanctioned by the government.
Okay. I'd like to remind all of our audience members to please refrain from chatting unless it is something that unless it's a question, like if we need information. A couple times we've asked like for a specific bit of information, and audience members provide the answer. But if you're just commenting on them, please refrain from that. And let's go to the next and final question from our candidates. So DJ, what is your third question for Cicero?
Cicero. And of course I will answer this myself. What is your favorite Dr. Seuss book?
Oof. I do not know of this doctor. The only doctor I know of is Dr. Mythos, who is here in our great kingdom of Grandaar. But this Dr. Seuss does sound like a great fellow because he is a writer, apparently, since he has written books. But if I had to say my favorite Dr. Seuss book would be How to Stay Healthy Eating Spider Eyes, because he is a doctor, and doctors tell you how to be healthy. Apparently.
And Etchingham, your response?
I'm going to go with the tried and true favorite, tried and true favorite, The Cat in the Hat.
I've never heard of such a book, but it sounds preposterous.
Boo!
Please, if both audience members could please refrain from idle chat. Please. That is funny, but please refrain from that.
I believe it was Ocelot in the Helmet, but...
So let's take our next question from the audience. The question I was going to give you is so similar to the last one that I'm not going to. So our question is from Supreme Justice, and he's asking you to set out your salary reform plans if you have any. We'll begin with Cicero.
It's all about equality in a Cicero empire, Cicero kingdom. I'm thinking equality, equal opportunities. So I'm not talking equality as in let's make everybody's salary equal in a communist system. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
Etchingham,
about
if you could remain still. It's a little bit.
Okay, I'm talking equal opportunities. So if maybe the salaries, the quota salaries will be a bit lower or higher for some jobs, but there will always be potential to work past the quota in a Cicero presidency. What I plan to do is make that everybody can work harder if they want to. I will not punish work as it is currently being punished, especially in the mining district and partially in the lumber district, because Jonathan Wood, I will take him as an example, works very hard in the lumber district, and he has been getting paid very little. The thing is, what I plan to do is maybe add some extra amounts. So just like throwing an example out there, this is just completely an example. Maybe every 8 diamonds that you mine in the mining district, for example, you would get to keep. So every 8th diamond, sort of like if you went to your favorite restaurant and they were like every 8th meal that you buy you get for free, you would get every 8th diamond that you mine. So then it would not only would it encourage you to go out mining, but it also increase the economy because more and more diamonds would be brought into the national treasury. Or brought into the national treasury.
Okay, I understand that you're talking on broader reform of the industries, and I was planning on bringing that up as a specific topic, but I think this question is specifically referring to if you would like to decrease or increase certain salaries. Do you have numbers in mind? I think that's what the question is asking.
Okay, I think he's talking about his position, and I will talk about the Supreme Justice position. I'm thinking a salary decrease of 30 gold. And we will split that 30 gold amongst the empire so that we would bring more prosperity to people. And for legal consultants or legal professionals, which I'm also thinking would be in your field, I'd say we'd probably go down like 15. Because I find that the job is demanding, but is it worth having the biggest budget, the biggest salary on the server? Probably not. I mean, the trading district head would probably, I think, have that when that becomes a thing, because that's going to be a big job. And but we'll see.
Etchingham, your thoughts on salary increases or decreases?
I think we got to keep them the same. I
So
think
all salaries across the board.
Yeah, I think the way people are being paid right now, I think it works, and there's no need to change what doesn't work. Don't fix what isn't broken.
Okay, that is the answer to that. Any rebuttal from either of you?
Yeah, I've got a rebuttal. Do you think that your high-paying position in the Empire would make you biased to this decision?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not looking at a perspective in which I think what helps me. I'm thinking what is better overall for the economy.
So, okay, well, to be overpaid is not helping the Grandar. not helping Grandaar.
Okay, well, I could fire right back and say, you were talking earlier about how we need to take the diamond, or whatever that was about. 8 diamond out of every 8 and give it to the people. Diamond is the highest. Diamond is the highest point of our currency. That's basically like if it's basically giving the highest amount of currency we have to someone simply because they
Because they worked. They worked.
But exact same
I
thing.
also think
Here's what you could say though. Here's what you
think
say,
and
though.
it was
The
purely an
lumber district.
example.
The lumber district doesn't have that kind of luxury. What do they get to keep? Oh, like a block of wood? Wow, that's great. People in the farming district, what did they get to keep? Ooh, a carrot. That's so great. It's biased towards the mining district. I could say the exact same thing about that to you. Are you thinking it benefits you in your position with your job?
It would probably benefit me in my job, yes, but
I would like to clarify one thing before this continues. I think he meant diamonds in the turn, like in the sense that he plans on removing them from the currency, as do you, Etchingham. So I mean, I don't think
it was purely an example too. I mean, I didn't get around to all the other districts, but I do have a plan to reform every district in a certain way. I will talk to every district head, even though the farming district's looking a little shaky right now, but I will talk to every district head and I will see what works for them, because who knows their district better than them? I don't know the farming district. I don't know the logging district. That's up to the district heads. I will talk to them. I will commune with each of them. We will talk salaries and we will talk how much they make and their workers make. That's what I plan to do.
I've worked in 2 of the 3 districts. One of them because of a case I had to move. I have more experience in both of these fields, and I would know what each field takes in order to... I wasn't fired, Ben. I was moved because you created problems.
Refrain from outbursts from the audience, and also candidates do not respond to any outbursts from the audience.
Okay. Where was I? Something. Somebody give me the last word I said.
We don't remember. It was pretty unmemorable.
No, not fired.
You were talking about experience that you have.
I know what it's like to work in each field. I know what each field needs for pay, and currently the pay works. There's no need to change what doesn't work. It's like beating a dead horse.
People will starve. They're not getting paid enough.
People will...
I've done the calculations, Etchingham. I'm on here every day. If I'm running around without a horse, which most people are, they don't have enough to pay for food every day. They need at least a stock of food every day, and that's not going to come out of their paycheck. The current paycheck is looking like it's like, what is it, 24 gold for a low-level miner or something like that? That's not enough for food every day for a quarter. That's just not enough.
Yeah, but Cicero, here's the thing. You're not actually working. You're just running around doing whatever. You're not working in your field.
I got my pay. I got my 24 gold. I don't have enough to pay for food.
You're not working. You're just running around doing whatever you feel. You would have enough if you just, did what the miners are supposed to do, which is walk a little bit, mine a whole bunch. You're not running around the entire time. I'm making plenty of sense.
I fulfilled my quota. You're not making any sense. These are not good arguments. No, I'm working fine. I'm getting my mining. I'm getting my ore in at the deadline. That's not the problem.
You're on strike right now.
Oh, I'm mining. Work to rule is different than strike. Work to rule is very different than strike.
You're causing. You're causing a deficit of ores and such in the Empire. You're not mining gold, which we could use for currency. You're harming all of Grandaar more than you are benefiting a small group of people who work there simply because you've decided it's unfair, while people for hundreds of years have gone through this and never said a single thing. What makes you better than they were?
Only an idiot would work for free.
So you're calling everyone who worked in the mining district beforehand in it?
I would like to ask the candidates to keep things a little bit cool here. Remember, this is a formal debate. You do not want to upset anyone, but you can continue.
It's not for free anyways.
I mean, if I was to mine past my quota currently, If I was
You
to
get
mine
paid.
past my quota, I would get cobblestone and lapis, and that's about it. And that does not feed me.
And we get the exact same thing. After we get paid at the start of the month, that's it. That's all everybody gets. You're not special. You're not above everybody else.
What's your salary?
It's my salary.
What's your salary? How much do you make?
How much do I make? It's a very good question. How much do I make? 64 gold.
Okay, you see, I'm making about half of that currently, and it's very hard to work on half of that.
You're making less than half. You're making
less than half. So I make 28. So 64, a quarter
24.
is about 24. Man, you see, that's the thing, right? It's at 64G, you're making extra already. At 24G or 20, what is it? 24? Is that what I make?
24.
Jesus Christ, I'm poor. At 24G, I don't have. I would have trouble paying for food every day. Like right now, I'm starving. I don't have any food in my inventory. Like I legit, I have 3.5 hearts. If I was to fall down now, I'd be dead. Like I don't have. I can't spend on food, or else it would break the budget.
That's because you're not working.
What are you talking about? Like you keep bringing up the same point. There's no.
You're not working. If you were working and not running around 24/7, sprinting around, jumping a whole
Emperor,
bunch.
Can we move on, please? Please move on.
Yeah, okay, because the second things get heated, Cicero runs away. That's what you want in a president.
You should stop getting so aggressive, Etchingham. I think you bring up some good points, but you want to keep it a little bit under your hat. This is a formal debate. Okay. I
gotta go soon. Can I ask my last question?
Yeah, I think we are going to move on just for time's sake. What is your last question, Cicero?
Yeah, so the farming district is currently in sort of a state of chaos where there's no food being produced, and I haven't been able to find a farmer to buy food from in ages. What do you plan to do to make people want to work in the farming district? Because it seems like everybody there either gets fired, leaves, or just decides to never come on anymore.
What about Arn?
I mean, I haven't seen Arn in a few days. I mean,
Arn was on all of, like, not all of, but most of yesterday.
He's on, I don't know, he's on very rarely.
But he's on. You can't say he just doesn't come on. The way you said it, it was a blanket statement that said he's not on.
Well, anyways, all I'm trying to say is, what are you going to do to make the farming district more efficient? I mean, we had to get we had to get our builder, Chris, so not Chris, our Asshat out there. Jesus Christ. That's his name. We had to get Asshat out there to go farm because there was no food in the Imperial stores. They're not producing either. So what's going on there? What would you do?
Yesterday, Asshat, while he was out there, decided to rebuild most of the farming district and revamp it in a way that keeps production up. And Arn was on yesterday and he saw it, and he tried it out, and it was more efficient. I believe he got half a chest of wheat from our field alone, from one field alone, which we only have because it's just one giant field. They also had an attack yesterday.
Please continue on your train of thought. Don't be distracted by the audience members.
Sorry, I'm easily distracted by the audience. Where was I? Arn was on yesterday, and we just... Jesus. I'm going to answer that, because...
If it helps, close your eyes, and audience members, if you could please stop.
I'm going to answer that. I am. Just because.
Yo, guys, I gotta go real soon. Let's wrap it up.
Wheat help make meat. What do we need? What do we use wheat to breed animals? What do animals make? Meat. There you go.
Okay, and Cicero, your thoughts on your question?
I want to make bread a commodity. I want to make it like more than just something you can buy. I want it to become something that like that you can bring, that like you can get for free from the government, basically. Now, not free. You need to prove that you have no bread, and then we will give you a stack of bread to always provide some kind of food to our citizens. I think that food is a right in Grandaar, and I think that we need to always provide something, because currently I'm starving and I don't have any food.
Okay, any rebuttals from either of you?
With giving out food for free and just making sure that they don't have any food on them, they could easily put food in a chest or have it on their inventory or something like that. It's too easy for someone to just hide it and then get food for free. Make it really hard on the
yeah, you're right.
district.
It is a complication. We'll have to work on that. We'll have to find some kind of system that will work. It still needs to be fleshed out. It's not one of my priorities currently.
Okay, since there seems to be a time issue with one of the candidates, I'm going to quickly move on to the final King's question, and that is, what do you plan? We've talked about this a lot, and I think we've skirted around it. In fact, at one point I sort of pushed away from the question because I wanted to ask it myself. What are your broader ideas for economic reform of the districts, of Grandar's economy as a whole? Do you want to keep it as it is? Do you want to reform it? Try to stick away from currency reform, because we've talked about that, I think, a lot. But if you have broader ideas for district and economic reform, I'd like to hear them. Let's start with DJ.
I think we should keep it as it is. It works.
So you think every single part you'd like to keep, just to iterate?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else from you on this?
Nope.
Okay. Cicero, your thoughts about broader economic reform?
Salary adjustments need to be done. We need to make a way that people can work past their quotas in some districts, and we need to add incentives to work, maybe add a building district, add more ways for people to make money, more ways that people can spend money, and just make the economy a lot stronger in Grandar.
Okay. I like both of those answers. Are there any rebuttal on this topic?
Don't fear change.
Okay. Now, that does it for this debate of Grandaar. Now, first I'd like to say a lot of you had a lot of interesting questions, and I was thinking about what I'm going to do with the extra questions since we have to end this now. I am going to write down all the questions that weren't used in the debate, and we're going to ask the candidates to give their statements on these questions at a later time. So that will be just an extra thing. Your questions will be answered by the candidates. I don't want any of them to go unanswered. I don't know if we'll get written statements or maybe a second smaller debate. Yeah, we could. That's actually a great point, Putty. In fact, a better time to do it is during the election interview that I'm hoping both of you will be available for. So don't worry, audience members. Everyone, could you please get back to your seats? Don't worry, audience members. Your questions will be answered. And I hope you're all really excited about this second Grandaar election. It is coming in just 6 days, so I hope you're all present and accounting for it. You can begin voting with the Supreme Justice, Putty Gash, now. Pre-voting continue until the election is over, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.